Well, how you doing, my friends? How you doing, new viewers? I'm Ion Prime. Today, taking a look at Forza Horizon 6 reviews. They have been released, and Sega desk chairs have been released as well. But we're going to start out with Forza Horizon 6. It is out in early access. It officially drops tomorrow, and just about every publication released their review of the game today, and they all agree that this is probably the best game in the Forza series. And Spawnwave and RGT85, they teamed up for a video today where RGT was talking about the game and the gameplay and the different cars and everything else that's available in the game. RGT called it, quote unquote, a masterpiece. So I've actually never played any of the Forza games. I've never owned an Xbox system, so obviously I've never gotten to play Forza. I know 5 made it over to the PlayStation 5. I think at some point I'll pick that up. Until then, I'm going to stick with Gran Turismo because I've always been a fan of Gran Turismo, and I love the gameplay in that game. I love the simulation racing in Gran Turismo, and I think that's why I've never really gravitated toward wanting to play Forza. Any of the Forza games. But next up we got Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. It is coming out later this year, and I've mentioned before that I'm no good at fighting games, but I do enjoy playing them. And this one it looks like a lot of fun, even though I probably will not be any good at it whatsoever, but it does look like a lot of fun to play. And there's news today that there's actually going to be a story mode in this game. Now, I'm in the minority on this, but I enjoy a story mode in a fighting game. Let's see, Mortal Kombat 10, I enjoyed the story mode in that. Street Fighter 5 had a good story mode that I enjoyed, and I will most likely enjoy this story mode. I think it said it's about 10 hours long, and the story will be told in comic book panels, and then there'll be action in between those panels as it tells the story. But I'm down. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, it is coming out on August 6th. And these look really cool. Sega, they have teamed up with office furniture company Branch to release some Sega-themed desk chairs. There'll be a Sonic the Hedgehog chair, a Sega Genesis chair, and a Sega Dreamcast chair. These are pretty cool. Now, the Sonic chair, it's blue. It's got red and gray accents. It will retail for $569. The Genesis chair, it's all black, has red accents, and will retail for $629. And the Dreamcast chair, all gray, just like the color of the original Dreamcast. The wheels will be in the colors of the buttons on the controller. It looks really, really cool as well. That one will also be $629. I want the Sonic one, I think, for my office. I think it'll look pretty good in here. But definitely, I've got the link to the chairs down in the description below. So go by there and check them out and see if you want one of those for yourself. And last night, Nintendo made a surprise announcement of 5 Virtual Boy games going into the Nintendo Online service: Jack Bros, V-Tetris, Space Invaders Virtual Collection, Virtual Bowling, and Vertical Force. Now, all 5 games, they are available as of today. I still haven't gotten the Virtual Boy accessory. I've downloaded the app on my Switch, but I haven't gotten the accessory yet. I'm probably just going to get the $25 one. I never had a Virtual Boy as a kid. I never knew anybody that had one, so obviously my nostalgia for the system isn't there. But I am interested in playing some of the games just to kind of check out how they were. Like I said, I may get the $25 accessory, but I really wish Nintendo would eventually get around to reworking that app where you don't have to have those accessories to be able to play the Virtual Boy games. And finally, this is a delicious story to tell. Hershey will team up again with a Pokemon, and they're going to release special bags of Hershey Kisses that will feature all 151 Gen 1 Pokemon on the wrappers, which I think is kind of cool. But this time, they did this last year, and so they're going to do it again this year. But this time, they're going to add 10 new ones, and they're all going to be themed around Team Rocket. So that ought to be fun. So there'll be 10 new, I guess, Team Rocket characters, or it didn't really describe exactly what the Team Rocket is. They'll just be, I did see the Rocket logo on the wrapper around the kiss itself, so I don't know if there'll be characters in there or other Pokemon. I don't know, but there'll be 10 additional ones to go along with that. But whenever these do come out, I might have to grab a bag or two and just kind of see what I can get in those. But that is pretty cool. So time now for why is it in my collection? And I'm sure you probably saw this to the side here, but yes, these are some PlayStation 1 games that I have. And I am a huge fan of the Final Fantasy series. I have been since I played the original Final Fantasy on Nintendo. I never played the Super Nintendo games until later on in life, so really it was just that first Final Fantasy game. But then when I picked up my first PlayStation, Final Fantasy VII was one of the first games I picked up. I believe I'd seen a TV commercial for it, and I was like, that game looks really cool. I'm going to have to pick it up, and that's kind of really where I fell in love with the Final Fantasy series, was with 7. So in my collection, I have Final Fantasy 7, obviously. I'm looking for a black label Final Fantasy 7, so I'll just keep looking. If I find one at some point, then I can get rid of this ugly green greatest hits version, but that doesn't matter. I have Final Fantasy 7 here. Final Fantasy 8, which is not my favorite of the games, but I do understand why people do like it. The systems in this game are obviously very different, but very unique as well. Final Fantasy 9, this is a fantastic Final Fantasy game. As a matter of fact, it's between It's between Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 9 and 10 actually. I'll flip-flop between which is my favorite of the Final Fantasy series. But man, Final Fantasy 9 is definitely a great game. Both of these I have gone through 3 times at least, 4 times at least gone through and beaten both of these games, but I love these two. But by extension, there's also some other Final Fantasy, or actually Square Enix titles, but we have Final Fantasy Tactics, which was a lot of fun on the PlayStation 1. And then I have the Final Fantasy Anthology, which has Final Fantasy V, which was never released in the US. And this also has Final Fantasy VI, which we knew as Final Fantasy III here in the US. I was thinking that I had the Final Fantasy that had the PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy that had Chrono Trigger on it, but I was digging through my collection. I did not see it. I thought I had that one, but I digress. But also, too, I was talking about Square Enix, is I have a Chrono Cross as well, which is basically the sequel to Chrono Trigger, which obviously we all know Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo, fantastic game, but Chrono Cross, you know, it's not Chrono Trigger, but it's a good sequel to Chrono Trigger, and I very much enjoy playing Chrono Cross. I actually have the, kind of the remastered edition. I have that on my Switch as well to be able to play, but that's why I keep these Final Fantasy games in my collection. I have pretty much all of them. I never played 11 just because I never had internet at that time. Whenever that was out, I know that was late 90s, but yeah, that was where I lived. That was just never really a thing to have internet. So I never played Final Fantasy 14 either. I don't have the time for an MMO. I don't have the time sink for it. But I've gone through pretty much every other Final Fantasy game in the series. 16 I finished obviously a while back. I love 16. What I think my favorite part about Final Fantasy 16 was the side quest, and the reason I like those side quests so much is that they were short. They were just short and sweet, and you could get to where you needed to go quickly, and you didn't have to adventure around for 3 or 4 hours. That was what kind of turned me off to Final Fantasy 15, is trying to do those side quests, and I mean they would take you just, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours to get through all of it. And you know, sometimes I don't know. I didn't particularly care for trying to do those side quests in Final Fantasy 15. I'll kind of get these in a proper order here, but I did enjoy Final Fantasy 15 for what it was, even though it wasn't exactly a complete game there. But again, Final Fantasy, one of my favorite series of all time, of any video game series, and that's why these games are in my PlayStation 1 collection. Well, I'm Ion Prime. You know what to do. Like this video if you like it. Dislike it if you don't. If you are new to the channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button as well on the page. If you want to discuss what I've talked about today, do that in the comment section down below. All of my sources for everything I've talked about today, those are also in the description below, so be sure to stop by those sources and just get a little bit more details about what I talked about today. And yeah, keep your controllers charged, my friends. I will be back tomorrow tomorrow with some more gaming news. I hope to talk to you then.